Hey everybody, Questwise here, and today I want to talk about a game. This sort of just popped up out of nowhere. I didn't plan on doing this review today. I didn't plan on even talking about this game today. That was until I saw the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And it made me instantly run to my shelf and grab this, the Ghostbusters role-playing game. This is my edition. It's so old and beat up that I actually put it into a binder and actually printed off a new cover for the training manual. But I wanted to talk about this game, and I wanted to talk about why I was excited about breaking this thing back out. This is a game, and I don't know exactly when this was published, but it was designed by, and if you've been following role-playing games for a while, you will instantly sort of recognize these names. But it was designed by Sandy Peterson and Greg Stafford, as well as Lynn Willis. We're talking Sandy Peterson, we're talking Greg Stafford, we're talking Lynn Willis. This is a game that sort of set the bar for certain role-playing games that would come in the future. Notably, a Star Wars D6 version from West End Games. This was put out by West End Games, by the way, originally. I'm trying to see if there was a date on here. 1986. This game looks like it came out, or at least the edition that I had that's just pages that are cut out and put in a binder. But what it is it's a D6 dice pool system that you'll be very familiar with if you've ever played the Star Wars D6 system. You're taking your skills and your attributes, you're gathering up a whole bunch of D6s, and you're rolling them, and you're adding this whole thing up, this whole pool of dice up. This was sort of the impetus for that whole idea. And then they had a thing called the Ghost die, which was an extra die, and this is going to be familiar with you, again, if you played the Star Wars D6 system, that you put in, it's a different color. Originally, it came as a die with the ghost symbol on it. And if it just rolled a normal number, you just added it to the pool. If it came up as a ghost or a 1, something bad had happened. Something catastrophic had happened if you failed to meet the target number and rolled a ghost. But if you made the target number with your roll and still rolled a ghost, it means there was some kind of complication introduced. And that was sort of a revolutionary thing that sort of popped up in the game world at that time. And it sort of influenced a lot of games to come out in the future. This game is super fun to run. Another thing that was institutionalized by this idea was that yes, you can play Egon and all those your favorite characters from the movies, but it's also it sort of wants you to play your own Ghostbusters and to start your own franchise in a different city. I've run it several times via a franchise in Detroit. I've done a few in like Chicago, in Austin, Texas, those kinds of things, where it wants you to build your own Ghostbusters franchise and tell your own adventures and go upon your own sort of campaigns and stuff. And it's very, very good at that. Character creation is super easy. It's super easy to teach the rules to somebody in like 10 minutes. But it has all that great stuff. It has ghost traps, it has proton packs, it has all the stuff that you come to know and love in Ghostbusters sort of world. The great thing about this as well is that it also sort of emulates that sort of humorous style of the movie. While there is a little bit of horror, that sort of humorous horror kind of take on things, you can also run it very seriously. Some of the monsters, some of the ghosts, some of the things in here are pretty dark, and you can use them if you want to run a more serious style Ghostbusters kind of thing. I find that this is a great, if you want to do sort of a short mini campaign. It's also great for conventions. It's easy to create pre-generated characters on the fly, and be able to run a sort of quick game of Ghostbusters anywhere you are. I haven't ever run a super long running campaign with this, so I don't know how well that holds up. I feel like it would be fine. There's endless amounts of inspiration out there to run a long running campaign, and your franchise gets better and better at those things as well too. One of the other things that emulates as well too is the ideas in the movie where it's illegal to hunt ghosts or to to have a nuclear proton pack strapped to your back. So there are rules in here for going to court and law and legal aspects. There's rules in here for car chases, how to create your own sort of additional, inventions to capture ghosts and stuff as well too. So like I said, this was not a review that I planned on doing. If you haven't seen the trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife, I highly recommend you go check it out. It looks like it's going to be very, very well done. The production quality is really there, and it looks like they've really taken a love of the sort of tying it back to the original stories. If you don't want, if you want to avoid spoilers for all this kind of stuff, I completely understand, and I'm trying to be completely spoiler free in this review of the new movie. But I highly recommend, if you can find a copy of this, and these are, I don't know how hard they are. Like I said, I've had this one for a long time, so I don't know exactly how hard it would be able to find, like maybe on Wayne's Books or eBay or something like that. I would highly recommend Wayne's Books to check it out if they have some copies. I'm not sure if they do, but they provide a great service, and if they do, they usually have some really high quality examples for some decent prices as well. But this Ghostbusters, if you get a chance, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of D6 dice pool systems, especially if you're a fan of the Ghostbusters franchise, as it were, and especially if you liked things like campy horror action as well too. So until next time, I'm Questwise, and I am out. Hey there, fellow questing knights. If you're looking to collect vintage RPGs, or would like to start and you don't know where to go, or if you're looking for a supplement to fill in that hole in your collection, I highly recommend Wayne's Books. Yeah, that's right. Wayne's Books, since 2002, have sold thousands of vintage RPGs. I highly recommend them. I've used them in the past, and I have nothing but 100% satisfaction with their service. So if you get a chance, swing on over to Wayne's Books and pick up everything you'll need vintage RPG-wise. I'm Questwise, and until next time, I am out.